perfect.
There he
So,
is.
so Sam, how are you today?
I'm good, Dan. Good to see you. Happy New Year! It's the first time we're seeing each other in the new year. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of jokes about, like, I think it's Curb Your Enthusiasm or Seinfeld or something, where it's like you can't say Happy New Year after like a couple days, like into the new year. But I don't know. I feel like we all deserve a little extra.
Yeah.
In our...
I do get conflicted because, like, after New Year, right? So if you go, like, if you greet someone or if you go somewhere, is it okay if you say Happy New Year to them?
I think so.
Right?
I mean, I think that's like a nice, like, fun little thing. Like, whenever, I mean, I guess I haven't met a lot of new people. I guess I've been, like, emailing people, and they'll say Happy New Year in the email. I'm like, okay, yeah, Happy New Year. I think it's fine. I think it's nice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, the other day I was thinking about it. Like, is it cool to say that? Like, after New Year, to say, like, if you go to a store and then you buy something, and then say, like, thank you, you're welcome, Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Totally. Yeah, I mean, like, your face, I totally feel that. Like, was that? I think it depends. Yeah, I mean, but also it's like, why would we want to, like, knock on something that is, like, something positive and nice and happy, especially during this time, you know? Like, it's kind of like, if there's, like, some positivity and joy that you can give or that you're feeling, then why not express it? Why not, you know, give it to the people around you? So I think that'll be my, like, bottom line for that, I think. So happy New Year to everyone.
There you go. Yeah. I do get also conflicted, like, right now with the whole greeting stuff, you know, like with the fist, you know, because I've met people that they want to greet you normally, but you can't, so you put the fist on it, but it looks kind of bad when they come closer to you, and you're like, huh, you know. And there's people who, you know, I just get I get conflicted, like, for those things. So at the end, I was like, I'm just gonna, like, do this to everybody. Huh?
Yeah. Do you mean that you're afraid that people are gonna think you're gonna punch somebody?
No, but I mean, besides that, yeah. But the other thing that like, what if someone wants to greet me, you know, like a friend, family member, and wants to greet me, like, properly, and I put, like, my fist on it? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm
okay. And they're like,
yeah, you know, I'm those type of person, and I'm like, I don't wanna look like I'm a rude guy, or, you know what I mean? So at first I was worried about that, but then I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this for everybody and problem solve.
Totally. And, like, do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what makes you feel safe. Like, again, it's like, especially now, it's just kind of like, we can't be worrying about, you know, like, yeah, like, basically everybody's doing their thing the best they can.
Totally.
So whatever that is, I would say don't worry about the judgment. But I completely understand what you mean. I've been in the same boat with, like, hugs and stuff. I'm like, eek! Like, love you, but I don't really want to, like, hug right now. So, yeah, totally.
That is complicated. But
yeah.
Welcome back. It is so cool to have you back here. So amazing. We finally made it here. We watched trying. It's amazing. I love it.
Is this my third or fourth time? Do you remember? I feel like we're not keeping track. I think it's third or maybe fourth.
So, okay, so first one, yeah. So it was first one, then for the 100th one, and then
maybe third.
Let me check. I think it's fourth.
Okay, well then I highly recommend that you do what SNL does and have a 5-timers club. For the people that have been on for 5 times, we can get matching robes. I think at this point,
that was cool. Yeah, actually,
Chat with Dan 5-timers club.
You know what? Now that I remember, and now that I'm seeing here on the lives, I mean, you and another actress have. I mean, for yours is gonna be the 4th, and then on Monday, I'm gonna have the 4th, and another one's probably you two guys deserve. You know, like the VIP member club. We'll see about that.
Be the 5-timers club, and then whoever else gets the 5. Oh my God, we should do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for a robe in the mail, and the next interview we're gonna.
That's gonna happen. Trust me. That's like once everything is, you know, like once we get out of this bad sequel called Omicron, then I promise.
Let's do it. I'm super down. Well, yay!
Welcome back. We finally made it here. Now, before we start, this is gonna be a heavy spoiler one. So for those of you who haven't watched it, yeah, just watch it first, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Dan. I know, yes. So Dan, for those of you who haven't listened to our other episodes, I created Trying the Movie, a short film about a woman with ADHD. It was released back in December, the official premiere, and it's now streaming on Vimeo. And Dan watched it! Yay!
Amazing.
Trying So yes, so now we're gonna have definitely lots of spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, watch it and then come back to this episode.
Yeah, definitely. 'Cause, yeah, we will be talking about a lot of spoilers here. It's gonna happen.
Yes,
It's gonna happen.
definitely.
So it's gonna happen.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to talk about it. Like I feel like I'm waiting for so long, especially to talk to you about it. Like we've been waiting for months, Dan.
Yeah, and you know what? And you know what happened was that when it was premiered, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna totally watch it, and then I even put it like on my calendar. But the thing is that I ended up moving houses, so so when I was like in the process of doing that, I put the calendar back inside, and then I forgot about it, you know. And then when I realized, I was like, oh crap, I haven't watched it yet. So yeah, it was such a crazy hectic month. But hey,
oh my god, honestly,
we watch it now. That is so cool. So before we start, I need to give you, proper welcome. You know what I mean? You need to give you a proper one. So you know what's gonna happen.
I'll take it. Thank you. Oh.
I'm super sure you receive a lot of those on the premiere that you're trying.
So many. No, it feels good. It never doesn't not feel good. I mean, that's, it's nice to get a little acknowledgement. I think doing the Trying premieres was really nice, because being able to like get it out to the world and have people actually, like watch it and enjoy it was really amazing, because it was like, we put so much work into it, so for it to actually be out there was just really great. So yay!
Love it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So let's talk about the movie now. Time for spoilers.
Okay, let's do it.
So I loved it. It was super cool, but like there were like so many things that I was like, For example, where the idea for the swan came from.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hello to everyone who has just joined. I saw a couple of my friends join. If you haven't seen Trying yet, we're talking about spoilers.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, now what is your question?
Yeah. Okay. So first one here, where the idea of the swan came from.
Oh, the swan painting. Yeah. So, okay. So there's a couple of layers to it. So, oh, my little doggy Emmett is here too. Yes, thank you, Emmett. Yeah, so I set the film in Echo Park, California.
Mm-hmm.
And just like demographically, geographically, it made sense that Meg grew up there. It's like lower middle class. There's, schools around there that, like lots of public schools that, Meg would be wanting to work at. She's going to an interview. And in Echo Park, there is a lake called Echo Park Lake that has swan paddle boats in it. So you can actually like ride giant paddle boats in the shapes of swans.
Okay.
To this day. Yeah. So in Meg's monologue, when she is talking to, spoilers, to the AAA technician, she is, talking about how when she was growing up, she lost her fish Goldie, and to cheer her up, her dad took her to ride the swan paddle boats. And she doesn't specifically say Echo Park Lake in the script, but that is where she went with her dad as a child, was Echo Park Lake. So the swan in the painting was inspired by those paddle boats. I went for the first time to the swan paddle boats during the pandemic, actually, because it was outdoors. Like once things that were outdoors started opening up, then my boyfriend and I went, because I always wanted to ride the swan paddle boats, but I'd never been before. So finally, after, I'm like born and raised in LA, so finally after decades of trying to get on the swan paddle boats, I finally did. So I think that's where that little nugget of inspiration came from. for that sequence. And then of course, you know, I like love the thought of Meg carrying around a painting with her like for the whole film, just like kind of as her like sidekick through this whole journey that she's going on.
Yeah.
You know, to obviously bring to the interview to show her qualifications to Mrs. Hazel. Yeah, which is always something I just always saw Meg carrying around a painting. It's like something that I think is just so funny, like the thought of someone carrying around like a 24 by like 36 canvas painting with them. So yeah, so that was the inspiration for the Swan.
For the Swan, okay. You know, like one of the things here is that, for example, when the triple guy asked like, what's the difference between a swan and a goose, like you like yeah, so you Meg explained the difference, but also like one of the things that I also was like, yeah, there's also like those like goose have teeth.
Oh, wait, geese do?
Yeah, teeth, actual teeth. I think they have teeth, or I think goose. Yeah, let me just. The reason why I noticed that is because in my like back in college they had like this, you know, like this huge lake with goose on it, right? And it was like the myth. Apparently they were saying that if a goose bit you, you will get like the college will pay for like full studies for it. So you will see guys constantly like basically provoking them so they can.
Oh my god, that's insane. That's hysterical. I have lots of feelings about that, obviously. That's so fun. Okay, so did people actually get bit? Like, were there teeth marks or like bill marks, or like is really? Wow.
That's what they said. I mean to be honest, those goose, they were really gangsters. I mean, those guys, they were gangsters.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you were like eating and they were like close to it, they will like really like come to like let me have it for you and stuff like that. So it got my attention.
If I was a goose and there's like some frat boy coming up, towards me, like, back up, bro.
Yeah, totally.
Insane.
So that really got my attention because because for a lot of people it's the same, you know, they don't see the difference between a goose and a swan.
Yeah,
you know, and totally that reference you do about Natalie Portman, that was cool. I was like, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, it's funny because writing that scene in particular probably took me the longest, which is so funny because it's seemingly like the shortest, or like I mean, you know, Meg of course has her monologue where we get the backstory, but as far as the banter between her and the AAA tech, yeah, there's like there were so many details in that I wanted to make sure, you know, they made sense, they were funny, they would land, they were, you know, smart, and I'm glad that they all worked out the way that they did, because I had jokes in there from, oh my god, spanning like crazy like celebrity references, like not like Natalie Portman, like that one like fit with the, you know, goose and the swan theme, but like it just, long story short, it took me a very long time to get that scene to where it was. So I appreciate the compliments, because that's probably the most like bantery kind of like dry, like single cam comedy, like kind of feel with that. So thank you.
It was really cool. Now, for most of the paintings there, did you actually like work on them?
For the paintings, you said?
Yeah, for the either for the swan or for the lion at the ending or for your capitalism drawing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Totally. No, so all of the paintings were my ideas that I wrote into the script for specific reasons, but I did commission artists for each piece of art to create them for the film.
Okay.
And we had two artists, Jennifer Charlie and Chastity Ramsey. Jennifer Charlie made, there are some little like colored pencil and watercolor drawings that you see in the opening of the film and around Meg's apartment. She made those, and she is a millennial artist with ADHD. And then Chastity Ramsey also is a millennial artist with ADHD, and she made the swan painting, the lion painting, and the capitalism drawing, and she totally nailed it. Like she did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I love them. I love them. All of those drawings. They were really cool. They were super.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really important to me that all of the artwork in the film was made by women artists with ADHD. And they were actually the first people that I talked to about like joining the film team. Like I was working with them on the artwork while I was still writing the script, actually.
Okay.
Because once I realized that I wanted to produce it and put it into production, I was like, I got to make sure that this art is like ready to go, and like, you know, we have to spend as much time as we need to on it. That was all like pre-production, like literally like writing the script phase. So they actually helped mold some of Meg's backstory too, like being an artist and being a woman with ADHD. It was really nice talking with each of them about their own experiences, you know, as women with ADHD, as artists, as millennials, like all of that, which definitely helped inform Meg in the script, like literally while I was writing. So they were so awesome to work with.
Yeah, they were amazing. They were amazing. But like, I wonder how the whole story came from. You know, like how so we will see Meg basically going for a job interview. At first she thought at first she thinks that she totally blew it, you know, that because the car that run out of gas and everything. But like, I wonder like where the inspiration to create the script came from.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many different inspirations for it. I think the biggest one was wanting to tell the story of, you know, women with ADHD, like because girls and women are underdiagnosed. You know, once I realized that there was a whole just like corner of the world, you know, of people like who were all experiencing, you know, similar things as far as being expected to do things a certain way in society, you know, like people not believing them or diagnosing them properly because they didn't have like stereotypical symptoms of ADHD, like you know, young boys may have, like, for some reason, ADHD. Like in the past, like there have been stereotypes around ADHD just being in like younger white males, which is not true. Any person of any age, race, like gender, anything can have ADHD, but it shows up differently in you know, each person, honestly. I mean, even Meg's experience, like she actually has OCD as well. So you'll see in the opening sequence when she is checking the stove and the AC and the candle, that is OCD. That was formed out of her having ADHD. Not every person that has ADHD also has OCD, but there are comorbid symptoms. Same with anxiety and depression, or even, you know, autism, which is also you know, a neurodivergence. So so that was the biggest inspiration for writing this specific story. Whoopsie. I was telling Dan my phone is like taped to my tripod because I'm missing a piece. So if it bumps down, that's the scotch tape given out. So that was the biggest thing. Like once I realized that, because I was going through my own, you know, mental illness journey, you know, as we've talked about in past episodes, with my own diagnoses of anxiety and depression. That kind of is how I stumbled upon, you know, these stories of these women with ADHD. And that's actually like, as I was writing the script and creating the film, it's actually when I found out that ADHD also runs in my family. So that was which we have also talked about, which like was a huge like that, honestly, like I was stunned. I remember talking to my mom and finding out that it ran in my family, because I was like, whoa, because Meg's character is, you know, strongly based on myself and my own experiences, as well as the experiences of all of the women who worked as ADHD consultants on the script. So that was a pretty surreal moment to have, you know, worlds colliding. Life imitates art, right? So yeah, that was definitely the biggest inspiration as far as creating the story and wanting to tell this, because visibility is so important. And there's so many human experiences, you know, each person is going through so many different things any given day. So it's just a story that hadn't been told yet, at least that I had seen, that I, you know, wanted to tell, and here we are.
Love it. I love it. Now, do you think that even to this day, like either if you have like depression or ADHD, you know, like all OCD, like all of those stuff, do you think that even till this day, when you are on job hunting, you know, what gets my attention is that I find it interesting that even till this day, if you're having like you know, like stuff like that, you basically need to hide it on your resume, you know. And that kind of stuff got my attention, because it is true. I mean, whenever, if you have depression or if you have like a OCD or stuff like that, you know perfectly well that if you say it, regardless, that you need to say it, you know. So because it's part of you at the end of the day, and the fact that can affect um, the decision, regardless if you have a very cool resume. Like for example, we will see on Mac that they will that the principal will be saying like, hey, like what, like there's a whole job gap here. What's up here, you know? And that, I mean, and that totally relates, because the fact that, I mean, how am I gonna, like how am I supposed to find what I love if I don't try, you know?
Totally. Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Dan, because I know that there have been like you know, we've all gone through similar experiences like that. I you know that we've like, you know, talked about job stuff and work stuff in the past. And yeah, this has actually been something that's come up in I'm big on Facebook groups. Actually, like that's like the thing that I use Facebook for the most is actually Facebook groups. So I'm part of like actor groups or like finance groups, a lot of like women in film groups, and that's actually come up where, you know, there are people who have bipolar disorder, or who have ADHD even, like I'll see on Twitter. Shout out to ADHD Twitter, which I am just now like starting to join and get trying out there, because this is actually a topic of conversation that people have brought up. Like, when is it appropriate to, you know, say if I am neurodivergent, or if I do have a mental illness, you know, or if I'm on, you know, any kind of you know, spectrum that I want to share. That's my life experience, and it's been very interesting to think about, because I mean, ultimately it comes down to like how it affects your work when you're applying for a job, right? And I mean, we've all been living through a pandemic even, so it's like, and we're all expected to, you know, just go on and get on with our lives and keep working as if nothing is going on. On top of any kind of mental illness or any kind of like thing that any of us have or are, you know, going through, it's pretty surreal, honestly. But yeah, okay, just to get back to what we were talking about, it's very interesting, because in the script, you know, having Meg say that she had ADHD, like, she's never done that before. That was the first time that she's ever said that she has ADHD to, I mean, you know, I'm sure it's not a topic of conversation just to anybody, maybe it is, but I mean, in this specific instance, having a history and like talking to someone who is clearly coming in like to Meg with previous biases, you know, having experienced Meg as a child, you know, it was really important for her to share her truth, while also highlighting that her having ADHD is not necessarily a bad thing, which it isn't. You know, it's just a different way that your, you know, brain works, and her going on to highlight the ways that she can help students in ways that other people can't because she has ADHD just shows how much of an asset she can be, and how her ADHD can actually be of service as a teacher, as a human, as, you know, a previous student with, you know, ADHD, because it offers a unique perspective on things and more empathy, and, you know, because her brain works a certain way, she's, you know, able to come up with really creative solutions, which we saw like with her getting the chocolate stain on her, you know, blazer and putting a little, you know, the quote unquote ribbon on it. So yeah, I mean, that was very important to me in that scene, to highlight that, you know, it's just because, I mean, because even the name of it, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is really doesn't lend itself to how it affects people with ADHD. It really, like, the name was created because of how it affects the people around people with ADHD. So even then, it's like, you know, it's not an accurate representation of like how someone's brain works when they are diagnosed. So so that was just very important for me in this scene, and I think it's just very important to see, like, just because, you know, someone is neurodivergent or, you know, they have a mental illness, like it doesn't mean that it's all, you know, quote unquote bad, which would just mean not up to whatever whack society standards have been put in place. But that, you know, you can be very unique, and like you have a different way of thinking about things and different experiences, which every job, every friend group, every, you know, community, like, we all need to be sharing our experiences, because we're all living each day so differently. And like, I just as we've seen in the past couple of years, you know, being in tune to other people's experiences and how they live their lives just makes us better people, because we're able to like have more empathy and have more understanding like in our day-to-days, and we're able to just understand each other on a deeper level and like give each other grace, especially during now. I feel like this is all like especially relevant also during the pandemic, because we're going through this insane shared experience. So yeah, that was a little long-winded, don't mind me, but that was very important to me with this, and how I feel as far as the job aspect is concerned.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I do think that I mean, it gets, as I was mentioning before, I mean, it gets my attention about how even to this day, like having those type of mental illnesses, you need to hide them, you know, and instead of helping you out, I mean, you are gonna hide them because you know how people might react, and also, as I said before, it is so, I mean, it is so crazy that even till this day they will treat those mental illnesses as, you know, like you said that you have depression or ADHD or OCD or like whatever, they will treat you like crazy, and it's not like that. I mean, it's just, you know, it's part of it.
Exactly.
And it's crazy how like instead of helping you to treat it, because at the end of the day, if you have any mental illness, what you want is to be accepted. You know, you want to be with people. You don't want to be dragged out and be treated as an outsider, you know. So the fact that even to this day they will for some jobs, I mean, I'm not gonna say like all of them, of course, but like
sure.
but like for some of them, if you by any chance you get the chance to say that you have a mental illness, either they could fire you, or they could be basically checking you out every single time for you to make one mistake, so they can fire you out, you know, and have a reason to say like, well, you made a mistake. So it is so interesting, the fact that I'm trying, when like in the middle of the job interview, and then the principal here starting to basically to basically throwing shots at her, you know, and the fact that we can totally see her face, Meg's face about to explode, you know, like because of how like it's not that I was a tough kid or a difficult one, you know. It's just that I had ADHD before and I have it now. It's part of it, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, no, these are all really amazing points that you're bringing up. And I mean, honestly, like that was a really big thing, like with this film specifically, was is to, you know, like open the gateway to removing stigmas around neurodivergence, which can also, like go, you know, hand in hand with mental illness, but you know, they're different. I do want to say that ADHD and autism are neurodivergences, and then like things like, you know, bipolar disorder or depression are, you know, mental illness, but it's the same thing as far as like them being stigmatized. You're absolutely right, you know, where people can assume that, you know, you are not capable of, you know, doing a job because, you know, your brain works a different way, or because you have a mental illness. So I mean, that really was a huge thing for making this film, because I've heard from so many people like how relatable Meg is, you know. Like I feel like there was something that every person that has seen the film could relate to something different, you know, to her and to her story. And it just goes to show, it's like she's just a human trying to, you know, get a job, go about her day. You know, she's like, we're all different from everybody, but it's like, it doesn't make her any less capable of getting the job done that she needs to do. Because you're right, you know, like because society is putting these, you know, just like heinous, just like ideas out there about mental health and mental illness and all of that, you know, things are opening up a little more. Like therapy is you know, something that I feel like is being a lot more openly talked about, which I, every chance I get, want to talk about therapy, because shout out to therapy. Everyone should be in therapy, because we're all just trying to live our lives. It's good to have someone just to talk to about anything you're going through. So I mean, that was just very, very important for this, because we shouldn't feel like we have to hide who we are, you know, or we have to hide our experiences. But because of so many years of, you know, just like just people being put down for so many different kinds of things, like anything that equates you to being different or, you know, out of the norm, which, what does that even mean? You know, it's like, just over the years, it's like, I mean, I'll tell you, it all stems from like, you know, like white straight, like Christian, like oppressive systems like that, you know, is kind of where this all stemmed from, where it's like, if you were anything out of, you know, that like box, however many hundreds of years ago or whatever, and we're still working through, you know, all of these, you know, issues today for equality. You know, it's like that's what we're trying to break through and break down, because truly, it's like no one is normal, or, you know, no one is like gonna do one thing one way all the time. Like we're all going through something every single day. So I you know, I could talk about this for years and years, but I'm really glad that you brought it up, because that was really important just for this film, just to show Meg like standing her ground and saying who she is, and, you know, that it's not all bad. Just because her brain, you know, works one way doesn't mean that she can't do what needs to be done to get a damn job, guys. That's all we're trying to do. She's just trying to work. She's just trying to work. So
but I mean, but yeah, Meg is super relatable, totally. And also, it's funny that after you know, saying to Miss Hazel that she has ADHD, interview's done, she goes back to the car, and basically it's a breaking point. You're like, yeah, okay, I can understand that, you know. Yes. But it's so interesting that after it, we can see that, yeah, she's back home, she's like doing the dishes here and there, and then there's a message saying that she got the job.
Isn't that great? You know, in the original script, actually, I kind of left it, okay, like, I'll say like early draft. I left it open to interpretation for the ending, because, you know, we know who Meg is. We saw her go through this whole day trying to get this job. We see her whole experience with Mrs. Hazel, which, you know, she stands her ground and she is strong, which is why she paints the lion painting at the end, because she was fierce and she was able to, you know, stand up to Mrs. Hazel and, yeah, just be the fierce queen that she is. Bows, more like. Yeah, so originally I had left it open, which was ridiculous, because I actually hate that when movies and TV shows leave like open-ended like endings. I'm like, no, I just sat through this whole experience with this person or this story, so I want to know what happens. I really wanted to make it clear that even after everything that she went through with the interview with Mrs. Hazel, with old school Mrs. Hazel, who was representing, yeah, those old society standards, old school like values, very closed-minded, and really just kind of set in her ways. You know, this is something that Mrs. Hazel hasn't really dealt with a lot, or if she has, she's had an idea about, yeah, ADHD, or, you know, kids with ADHD in the past. So she does represent the education system in general, because there's a lot of work to do there as well. I have lots of teacher friends who have watched the film and said this was spot on, because it's something that we really need to focus on in our schools, on how we can better, you know, support kids that, you know, learn in different ways, or, you know, need more time, or they're, you know, unique in, you know, any way. So yeah, so eventually I was like, no, like I always knew that Meg got the job, but I was like, we all need to know that, like, it is possible for change to happen too, and that you can be vulnerable, and that, you know, she clearly showed that she was qualified and able to do this job, and she's gonna be a great teacher. You know, we saw her with Devin when they're coloring their, you know, the little crayon drawings and everything. Yeah. She's clearly so passionate about the job. So that really won Mrs. Hazel over. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny, like, I wrote the story, but I'm so happy for Meg, you know, that she did get the job, because she deserves it. She's going to be more than qualified. And I forget if we had talked about this, but teachers with ADHD is a really fun, like, topic that I also researched, because teachers obviously with ADHD, you know, will function differently than teachers who don't. So that's like a fun little research thing. If you're listening, want to look more into that, I think it's really great.
that is super cool. Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, if you have left the ending, like, maybe she did, maybe she didn't. The first thing that came to my mind was like, yeah, that would have been like some Inception, like this movie Inception stuff, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like, what if she did? Maybe she didn't. But yeah, it's good that you actually give a closure to it, because yeah, it does make sense, you know, that the fact that she basically stood up, you know, and that is, I think, one of the things that for a lot of people who has that, or many other stuff, it's difficult to, you know, as you just mentioned, either for the and also and also, yeah, like the whole school system, it is so, it shocked me that even till this day we still have the same school system as 60 or 70 years ago, you know.
Totally. I
And
know.
it's so crazy about it. And we will see, for example, countries like the other day I was reading about it, like Sweden, that they actually are like changing it and making like more, like more, yeah, basically changing it, which is, changes are good. And the fact that the
Yes.
fact that we're still carrying a school system from the 60s or from the 70s, like way, like even, it's so funny. Like back then, I remember at one time I was speaking with my mom back when I was in high school, and she was like, "Yeah, I got the same books back when I was in high school." And I was like, "What?" you know. So it's
Oh
so
my
crazy
God.
about that.
Isn't that insane? Well, and I'm glad you brought up change, because I think just the concept of change in general is scary, and that's definitely what like Mrs. Hazel represents. It's like she knows things one way, and she's that's just the way that she's doing things. She's not necessarily a bad person, Mrs. Hazel. She's always done things a certain way, so she doesn't really know anything else. So her experiences when she's talking to Meg when she realizes she has ADHD is just reflected on her own experiences, and being an older woman and having grown up in a certain generation and all that. It's just crazy. I mean, there's constantly work that needs to be done everywhere, and like there have been a lot of shifts in the past couple of years, which is good. So we just need to keep on that train, and sharing our own experiences or telling stories like this, even that kind of help open things up a little bit, like just so we can know that there is change is possible, and like we're all like just trying to live our lives, man. We're all just trying to live our lives. So like, what can we do to help each other? Just like live the best lives we can live. Like that's really what it comes down to. So,
Yeah, totally. At the end of the day, I mean, everybody's doing their own thing. So why not supporting others? Why not supporting those who want the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it is unfair, and it's wrong. The fact that, as we mentioned before, that the fact that if you have something really personal, or any type of disorder, mental illness, whatever, the fact that you can't say it because you are gonna be treated differently, or the fact that you can't actually raise your hand and be like, yeah, I have that. The fact that like all of those stuff is they still like judging that. It's so crazy. And at the end of the day, like those type of people, they want the same thing. It's not like they want something, like they're gonna do something evil or something like that. No, they just want to do the same thing. They want to get money the same way as you. They want to buy things the same way as you. They want to live life basically the same as you. So it is
definitely.
I found trying very very inspirational, the fact that at the end, as I was mentioned, Meg got the job, and that is kind of like it gives hope. I do believe that movie gives hope, that it's okay to stand your ground basically, and to be like, yes, I have that. Because I think also when you accept it, it's even better. When you're like, I have that. If the whole world's gonna judge me, F it, I don't care.
Yeah.
But, it's just part of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually, when writing Meg, I said there are a lot of things that were inspired by, myself and my own experiences in like her actual character and how she does things. But, or just, I was going to say how she does things and what she says. But actually, when I was writing the script, I feel like there were a lot of moments where Meg says and does things that I wish I could say or do. Or like, I wish that I had the confidence, because I've been finding my voice more and more, as we grow, as we get older, we become more comfortable in our own skin, and we are in communities that support us and uplift us, or whatever it is. Yeah. And like I found, like when writing Meg, like when she stands up to, in quotes, the like cat caller who comes up to her while she's in her car, like, hey baby, you want some of this? She's like, oh yeah, and kind of like tells him off a little bit. Like it made me laugh writing that, because it's like, that's what I wish I did every time that's happened to me, like as a woman. And like in her interview, when she just like is straight up like herself, she shares her experience that she has ADHD. Like I am inspired by Meg, because that's something that I wish myself that I could like do in any situation. And not that I don't, like I said, I am learning to find my voice. Like creating this film was a really big lesson.
Yeah, totally.
Knowing that, you know, my voice does matter and I do have things to say. So that's always something that I'm working on myself. But yeah, I mean, I'm inspired by her too. Like, because we should be speaking our truth, you know, and we should like say how we feel. It's like that's how change is gonna happen. That's how conversations are gonna happen. That's how things move forward, or you can change someone's perspective on things, like in the film. So yeah, definitely. I'm really glad to hear that you liked it and that you were inspired by it, because I am too. It sounds so silly that I made it, but like truly, I mean, it was a nice blending of like the way that I am and the way that I want to be, you know.
Totally.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. As I was mentioning before, there were two movies that I was super excited last year, which one, Spider-Man and Pride. So I remember that.
I love it.
That once I finished watching, I was like, okay, now everything. Yeah, now I don't care if the world ends right now. I already did. Yeah, I already did.
Yeah, capped it 2021. I love it. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's, as I said, it is really cool, and also the fact that and that is also like one of the cool things that I love about that I love about you guys, actors, producers, writers, that the fact that you can create stories that inspire us and we can relate to that. That is really cool, and that is something that the fact that they are telling us stories that we can relate, that we can be like, I can totally see myself doing that, or I did something like that. And the fact that we can get inspired in the same way, it is really cool. And I do believe that is where like kind of the whole magic, you know, starts.
Yeah.
When you can get relate for someone created, you know, someone that is not technically real, but the fact that you can totally get inspired by that and be like, if she could do it, I can do it too, you know. If she could stand her ground and be like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna say this. And it is really cool. I loved it. As I say here, I'm now at the moment forcing my friends to watch it, just like, you know.
I love it. Oh yes, we love forcing our friends to watch it. Hey, I'm all for that. Shameless self-promotion. Thanks, Dan.
No, but it's cool.
I really appreciate you saying that, though. Seriously, thank you. I mean, that's the like TV and film, and or like shows, like stage, even like theater, as it's slowly coming back. Like those are definitely the stories that inspire me the most, or things that I can learn something, or that I can relate to, or want to like live my life, or be a better person, or whatever.
Totally.
That's always been the catalyst for me for this. So I'm really just so grateful and just humbled to hear that. So thank you.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning, I loved it. And like something funny is that I'm the type of guy that like action movies, comic ones, questions here and there, and like all that stuff. And then when
this is not that.
Yeah. Just letting you know, guys, those who watch it, you're not gonna see an explosion at all. Yeah,
no explosions.
But one of the cool things I remember, that when we got like our first episode and then you talk about that film, I was like, that was getting my attention. I was like, okay, that's really interesting. And then when I was gonna watch it, I was like, that is so cool, because this is totally new ground for me. I haven't been like in this type of ground, so let's see what happens. And as I said, it was refreshing, it was cool, but also the fact that as I mentioned before, that you can relate to that it's a regular story. I mean, from someone who is having ADHD and is going through a job interview and is going late. I mean, it's happened to all of us every now and then. Or the fact that you're like, I don't have enough gas to it, but you're like, okay, I think I can make it, but then you so like all of those types of situations, they're totally relatable, but they're also cool to kind of be like, if it because I think also for some people, it's kind of you get into this point in which whatever you are feeling, you're like, it's like nobody else. It's like nobody else is going through this. It's impossible that someone is feeling like the way I do, or having like a problem like the way that I have.
Sure.
So, and we will see with Meg that in this basically day or half day, basically, we can see like a process here, like a quick process in which from being like all like insecure, that what if they don't hire me, what if they don't hire me because of my age, or like what am
Yeah.
I gonna teach these kids? You know, like all of those type of stuff that you totally ask yourself before a job interview, and especially if it is a job that you really want, you know, and you're like questioning like what is happening if I did like if this is instead of this or and you get into this whole, I mean it gets horrible basically, but the fact that
Yeah, the spiral.
yeah, and as I say here, the fact that Meg at the end gets the job, she basically spoke the truth, and also as you just mentioned before, the fact that now at the end we will be seeing a lion now, that was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thank you for saying all that. And yeah, I mean that I was honestly stunned by, you know, the premieres when we actually were able to share it with people that, you know, weren't on the team. Because at the premieres there were kids who were, I think the youngest there was maybe like 4, and then we had, you know, some like other kids that were like younger or like teenagers, all the way up to, you know, like my grandparents and their friends were there, you know, and they're in their 70s.
Oh.
Like, so we, and like all in between, and each person had something different that they liked about the film that they were able to connect to, because I think it really is just like, I mean, yeah, it's a day in the life story, right? A slice of life. It's the human experience. Like, these are things that, yeah, all of us can relate to in one way or another. Was definitely a big hallmark of this story. So I really appreciate you saying that. And yeah, again, like I said, a lot of these things were based on personal experience.
Love
I mean,
it.
You brought up when Meg cries in her car after the interview. That was based on the amount of times that I've cried in my car after I've done an audition. When that either went great or not great, or, you know, usually I think it didn't go well. So then I sit in my car and cry. And it's very just like, one person described it as, you know, low. Yeah, plug my phone in. Yeah, just like that cathartic, because you're just like getting it all out after this intense experience where you put your whole heart out there, and it feels like your whole life is on the line. You know, that was definitely that's something that I think, yeah, we can all relate to in one way or another. And yeah, I mean, when she does make the lion painting, you know, there's lots of you know, mixed emotions. Obviously, like, she is happy she spoke up for herself, which I constantly feel. I'm like, I mean, I think all of us do. Like, we all have such complex emotions at any given time where, you know, like things that are like bittersweet. Like, that's been something that I've been feeling a lot lately. Like, bittersweet has been a big theme for me. So, like, with that, you know, she's happy that she spoke out and spoke up for herself, but at the same time, like, did that cost her this job that she needs? She's about to, you know, come off unemployment. She's just trying to, like, pay rent. So yeah, the lion painting was kind of like a middle of the night, like, passion project that she started, because, you know, ultimately she like the difference was this, with her saying that she had ADHD in the interview, was the first time she's ever done it, right? So, like, that is where that comes from. So when we see that she got the job after everything that she went through, you know, it's like like a breath of fresh air, and also like excitement, you know. Like, I mean, we've said it before, and I again was very humbled when when the film was finally released, because people wanted to see a sequel. They wanted to see it as a feature film. They wanted to see it as a series, you know, see where Meg goes from here, see other aspects of her life. And I was like, so, oh my God, I can't even begin to say, like, how just truly stunning and, like, that was to hear from people, because I would love to do that, and I would love to see, you know, obviously Meg and where she goes from here. In fact, people want to know, you know, I want to see Meg as a teacher, you know, in a class with a bunch of kids. I want to get to know her mom, or her friends, or, you know, her dating life, or, you know, whatever. Like, see how else she shows up in her life, and, you know, tries to get through any given day. So yeah, it's really, really great. So
yeah, I loved it too. That would be cool, actually. And that was like one of the things that I was gonna ask you, like do you, like, now that so this was like the first project for Samscape, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Debut.
Love it. So are we gonna see, like, what's next for Meg? Like, okay, so like my two questions here is, what is gonna happen to Meg in the future, and the second one is, what can we expect from Samscape in the future?
Ooh, well, as far as Meg, you'll have to stay tuned. I think the biggest thing now is getting the film out there, and I would love to find people, maybe, investors or producers or other, like creatives that want to collaborate to keep the story going. Because many of you listening or watching know, or if you listen to past episodes, I did crowdfund for this project, so it took a lot of work to get the money for this project, and things are expensive, man. And when you got a 20-person crew and an 8-person cast, they all got to pay their bills, so they got to get people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So as far as next steps, we shall see. I like I said, I would love to see Meg as a teacher. I would love to see her and her more of personal life and her relationships.
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really cool. And as far as Samscape, I actually I was on. I shared a couple days ago for the first time, so I'll share it here too. That I am in the works actually writing another project with my partner. Which I can't really talk about yet. It's not set in stone, but it would be a series, so we're kind of on the same track.
Okay.
So I feel like that's kind of helping me learn kind of about that side of things, as far as trying for a series or expanding that story. So we'll see what happens, but there are things in the works. I'm very excited, and I'm just ready to get trying on the film festival circuit too, so that more people can see it and enjoy the story, because I've gotten a lot of great feedback from the filmmaking community too, which is awesome. So I'm super excited. So stay tuned, y'all. Big things are coming. We'll see.
That is amazing. Yeah, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for the future of what Samscape's gonna do. As I said, trying was amazing, and now the fact that you're announcing something for the future, that's even cool. Now I'm like, okay, now I have a reason to say, let the world not end yet. Wait.
Yes, no.
Yeah, no. But it's amazing. It's amazing.
Don't leave yet, Dan. The world doesn't explode just yet. We got a couple more things to.
Yeah. Especially, don't. Yeah, it's so amazing. Like the fact how you are creating everything here, the fact that it's actually what people love it. As I said, and the fact that it's actually something that basically comes out of you, and to tell a story here, you tell it perfect. I mean, you basically did a fantastic job here. As I mentioned, I'm definitely supporting everything that you do here. I'm also making sure that friends and family are watching that, because, as I said, it is really cool, and it's a story that a lot of people need to see, because, as I mentioned before, it is important to kind of see, to kind of know about it, So
thank you.
Did it.
Really appreciate it. Yeah,
it's amazing. I can wait. I can wait for the future. At some point you should make, for example, what Marvel does, that they would kind of hint all of the projects for the future. That would be
totally right. Put a little after credits scene. I should. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes up next, and
I love it.
What we can connect. But I will say, sorry, my dog's going crazy. If you stream, Trying is available for streaming now on Vimeo on demand. I'm sure Dan will put a link for wherever you can get to my Instagram. It's all over my Instagram, Samscape Productions and Trying_movie. And there's a ton of behind the scenes footage there as well. So you can rent or buy the film, and it'll come with all that behind the scenes stuff, so you can see what it looked like on set as we were making it, and then all of the inspiration for the script, and you can see all of the artwork and all of that. So if you want to see more, but we don't have products coming out yet, you can still go see the behind the scenes of all the making of this. So there is a lot of content out there. So
totally.
do it now, y'all.
Totally. What you could do is, I mean, for those who are watching this right now or later, or on YouTube or as part of our Apple Music, what you could do is you could put pause. Then you can rent or buy Trying, and then you're gonna order a pizza,
Yes.
And then you're gonna basically watch and enjoy it. It's an amazing short film. I can't wait to see more. I like to see more of it. And who knows? Maybe we are talking about Meg cinematic universe. We'll see what happens.
I would absolutely freaking love that. I mean, you had said that before, the Samscape universe, and I always love that, because it's let's go, let's connect it all. And yeah, Meg's story especially, I think there's so much we can unpack there. So manifest it, baby, let's go.
Yeah, but Sam, at the end, I mean, you are killing it here. I'm so proud and so happy that that trying was released. As I mentioned before, that I don't know, since our first episode, I was constantly asking you like, is it there yet? Like, when is it gonna be released? Like, are we gonna watch it? Like, are you really? I mean, it's really hurting my feelings the fact that I'm waiting for this film already.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's amazing.
I just want to say I really appreciate your support, Dan, because it's because of people like you, you know, that I want to keep making these stories and like sharing with people, because you know, you never know who they're gonna touch or how they can affect somebody. And I'm really, really happy that you were able to connect with it in so many ways. And thank you for being so supportive for this whole journey. Always. Truly. So
always, because basically when trying was in the process, also my show came kind of at the process. So I found it very interesting.
Yeah, I know. It was definitely meant to be. I mean, they say coincidences, right? But it's all about timing. Like, everything happens for a reason. Here we are, about to be in the 5 Timers Club next episode. Totally. But hey, at the end, basically, I mean, Chat with Dan is gonna always support what you do. Chat with that show is gonna always support Samscape and everything that you do, because it is awesome. It is amazing. It's fresh, and it's something that it is honest. You know, it is real. It is honest, and I always say that I do believe that when you do things by heart, you are basically, good things are gonna happen for you in the future. You know, and the fact that you are motivating, inspiring people, it is so cool. It is so amazing, and I'm sure that for those who watch the movie are gonna basically say the same thing, that you are basically telling a cool story here, that you're inspiring us also, and it's amazing. And I can't wait to see what you do in the future. Definitely Samscape is gonna definitely rock the whole world, and I'm not gonna stop also supporting what you do until we see you basically like super on top. You know what I mean? A-lister, baby. Thank you, Dan. Seriously, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I'm really, really glad that we're on this journey together forever. For real. Chat with Dan Show for #forever.
There you go. Now, Sam, again, thank you so much. So you know the drill. For those who are watching this right now, thank you so much. If you're watching this later here on Instagram or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, make sure that you follow Sam on all social media. If you already do, that's perfect. Then what you gotta do, you gotta basically like the content, share. I mean, let's make trendy. Let's make trying trendy right now. Also, Sam, you know, let's make hashtag Team Trying Sam or Meg or something like that. You know, creative here, and it's amazing. And Sam, before I send you off, you know the drill. You know what is gonna happen. It's
I'm ready. Thank you. It never gets old, honestly. The applause keeps us going, doesn't it?
There you go. And I promise that for the next premiere, I'll be there, and I'll bring my laptop, and just to be like the clapping sound again,
I love it. It's just you in an empty auditorium with like the clapping. It's like Shia LaBeouf at the end of that Shia LaBeouf video. Where he's just alone in the auditorium.
Totally. You're gonna see while everybody's clapping, you will see someone with a laptop just like putting it, you know, on top and be like, yeah, exactly.
Love Actually.
But it's amazing. Keep have an amazing rest of the Sunday, an amazing upcoming week, and nothing but amazing things to you, because you totally deserve each and every one of them. Keep rocking, keep inspiring people. You're awesome, and keep rocking. Basically.
You too, Dan. Thank you so much for having me. Can't wait for the next one.
Have a good one, okay?
You too.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.